Chachobado dani jasochi, dani chushe jive sunanje, dola peche sanje drubacho, sanje chudan soje chamala, chachobado dani jasochi, dani chushe jive sunanje, dola peche sanje drubacho. Evarma sinja thama chije thodo zobe sanje yugo boru, chinya thobacha. Te shedo da vishu number da sanyame. Kolon chachu yuse mo jile versa da sambarashu.
One would attain state of enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. For that very purpose, listen to the teaching. So please correct your motivation likewise in the bodhicitta to attend to the teaching.
Senje chuji sam moji chilabirida. Laju sunde tsarida. Laju sunde nöme go la suado liji shi sus chade don hiji chili shi de. Ani dire. O gaina lame chalami go soro dire. Ka lame ke lam go soro de dong ni some be shi be soro de go yo. De no ni de da do ba ji sonju yin za. An de liji shi sus ya de dong liji re. Devata Tombani with the Toshiri. Sanaga Lamko goes to the Karamu, so Nijalo, so Suna de Shi, so inside the Guyori. Devachan Sunazo, Tombachan Ishizo, so G, the so rich and soya Zanioma, Kadej and Sony Sonju Shadari. The days of Sanaga Lam, Yogu at the period. Sherbaji Pure in and around by Enjab to Pune, Enjab the Pachin Tirigo, so Chosama, Yala Jede. That is a tribute transform that day. What the regular Variji Punamato, they don't go Shidayu. Some don't say Omarwa.
So, the subject which we are going to, the teaching section, now receiving of the 4 initiations. Now, they will make the request to the old lineage gurus and to give us the transmit or bless us to receive pristine awareness of the non-duality of bliss and void, or simultaneously generated bliss and void, or in Tibetan, the Dedong Hijitivi Shi. That so now this Dedong, De as bliss and Dong void, are the wisdom of the non-duality of bliss and void that serves as the life force of the tantric practice. That it is the life force of the whole course of the Tantra and union of the bliss and void. The Sungju or the Yugunada of the bliss and void is life force. So that's our whole purpose of Tantric practice. And in Tantric practice, that because of the bliss, we accumulate meritorious, we earn meritorious accumulations. Because of void, we earn the incidental accumulation or the dhyana sambhara. So thus, every practice enables us to earn both the accumulation of the meritorious accumulation and insight accumulation or realization of the insights. So because of this method, because of this that it makes the tantric practice speedier in terms of attaining enlightenment. To be able to all the practices by the incorporation of wisdom of bliss and void. And like for instance, in Person Paramidhyana, that if you make an offering of the water bowl with the water, with 8 qualities of water and so on, blessing that with the mantra of the offering and so on, but since it can be blessed with the, offered with the wisdom of non-duality, bliss and void, that whereas the ability to do so, the ability to offer any kind of offering with the wisdom of non-duality, bliss and void, makes the tantric practice faster and speedier, attaining enlightenment, and enable us to earn both kinds of sambhara or the accumulation at the same time.
바진 TV 가서 돈이 또 다와디 치워래. 돈이 하고 가서 돈이 찾으던 서울 돈에 요마래. 요마르데 유제되어 전부터 매래. 되어들래베 바진 TV 가서 신의 로요도 신장이 되어요. 디벤도 말해. 돈이 무슨도 또 냐자게 되어요. 대디 돈 줘서 펜토고 말해.
So,
저디 오모송게 가서 소주 담에 되어요. 되게 돈 줘서 펜토고 말해. 라메 코로나를 디동 가란수 다다 디동 이시스 돼야지.
so in terms of objective emptiness, that there's no difference in the subtleties between the Prajna Paramidhyana and Tantrayana. The objective emptiness, we can't make a distinction in terms of the subtleties between the both. But objective. But subjective-wise, subjectively, then the difference happened between the Prajna Paramidhyana and Tantrayana, Mantrayana, because of subjective, the great bliss mind, as that comprehends the emptiness, that excels. Otherwise, objective, the emptiness on itself, there's no distinction in terms of that's just the same in both schools. And like for instance, in this Sutrayana, that when one attains the calm abiding or Chine or the calm abiding shamatha, there's a bliss of the suppleness of one's body and suppleness of one's mind and so on, but that kind of bliss is not adequate. Or when one attains the direct non-conceptual understanding of the emptiness, there's bliss of the equipoise in Sutrayana, but that too is not adequate. Kind of bliss we are talking about here is the great bliss which we talk about Mahananda Yoga Tantra. So taking that blissful mind as subject, comprehending on the emptiness and inseparability of the same, that makes this practice speedier in terms of attaining enlightenment.
Tadi donjua devatele lameke koso gawa choga chega leji gawa ji sani gawa tardo leji gawa terango lameke languso.
So when we say jar or to join the bliss and void, join the bliss and void, the kind of the bliss and void which we are trying to join, the blissful mind, that should be in Mahananda Yoga Tantra. As you know, there are 4 kinds of bliss: the supreme bliss, exceptional bliss, and innate or the spontaneously generated bliss, right? So here, kind of bliss we are talking about is that the 4th one, the what necessary bliss is the 4th one, simultaneously generated bliss.
제자는 해지 이시주세야디 해지지 이시디 자주 수고요래 되니 수대 제베고도 소다고도 라마 대단히 고일 잘을 주지 오저도 제보 주 데리 정와다 데도 해지지베 이시데 다다로 지롱도 진질로서 고송투지 잘로 추쇼소 삼바로 미바지기 지글마 수대 된거래.
So when we make requests, then we request that please bless me to be able to receive, to be able to receive the pristine awareness of the simultaneous generated bliss and void, right? Non-duality, bliss and void. And that when we do that, making requests to the gurus and all chronicles of the gurus, that try to make very strong wish that please make me worthy of, very worthy recipient of the same, or make me fertile to receive that wisdom, and please grant that wisdom this very moment inside me, or transmit that.
아니 자갈라메 순데티 시 샹레 랑 자갈라메 춘데모도 자갈라메 순데 뜨떠나 뜨베고디 주벨라마 조사시 지게 조도 소도 그래 지게 조도 자갈라마 자갈라메 순데기도 지게 조도 소도 다 라마 성수어데 대전 해지지 시대 조구조의 지와 진실로 나스전 지와 그 정조 나로 나스 수쇼 표주되라래.
So receiving the nectars from whatever guru you are trying to concentrate, and you receive their blessings and purify the negativities and start to think you have made the worthy recipient and you receive the same. And when you try to finally, when we reach the one's root guru, the one root guru to whom we owe all three great gratitudes, that from him that we should focus our whole attention on the root guru at center, and with very forceful devotion that we should request for the receiving of this.
단 라주신데서 온시 전랍 등에지 온시 전랍인데 셰시지들이다. 등에지 온시 전랍데 니마르를 제토나 야나 내요. 다다네디 고이죠. 라마초 등근 저도 라마 사송된 사디 어제 가마티서 린다 지자존에 온시 전랍데 등에지 온시 전랍. 대체 주존에 대해 고이죠. 가든 라자탈라 온시 전랍 중이는 너무 더워서 망그래. 대지기는 대야 다쳐요. 야 대마이면 가르쳐 그래. 너무 쓰다만에 라면 내줘기 오지절로 지기네 오지절로 도모 고쳐 그래.
So
녀물라 오지절로 살을 맞아야나 온기 초 놓버렸으네. 야 온기 절로 개마 온 수잡이 절로도 좋은 누구야 이거 가르치고 있는 지스기요. 대인상 오지절로 살을 마셔 보고 그래. 나도 너번에서 살을 먹으니 소시절이.
So then after that we comes on the section, we request for the, and to make us worthy of receiving, or the fertile to receive the same, and try to think you purify negativities and you receive the that wisdom of non-duality of bliss and void. And now the taking of the four initiation, entitled in Tibetan as the blessing of the four initiations to the equipoise, mental equipoise, four initiations, receiving of that, okay, through the blessing. Now, this is the section where we do it in this practice, and it is very wonderful to do it. Or if you say the Lama Choba prayer, you will find that after we said that you are my guru, you are my all my Buddhas, you say that, and right after that it follows taking of the four initiations, equipoise initiation to the blessing, in the form of blessing, you do that. Or if you do it through the Kandal Hajama, the 100 host God up to Tushita Pure Land. In that too, it is fairly lengthy. Again, that has our most wonderful section on this taking of these four initiations to the equipoise meditation. Now, or in Siddhamantara too, you'll see the same section on taking of these four initiations. So wherever you do, you should try to do it at least once every day. Then if you could do so, then they're saying that non-discontinuity of the stream of the initiation, then non-discontinuity of the stream of the initiations thus maintained. So it is extremely helpful that if you could do it, and most of us who have these initiations before, we do it not only once, but 2 or 3 or even 4 or 5 times each day. So we should try to do it at least once. Then if you don't, maybe that discontinues the stream of initiation we have received. So whatever, but it is very important part of the practice. So the Wang Shi Chinlap, please get the Tibetan Wang Shi as four initiation and Chinlap as blessing. Blessing of the four, receiving the initiation through the blessing, four initiations through the blessing. And that in Kandal Hajya, which we read now, that does not have it. These days we are trying to say the shortest of the short Ganden Haiti.
다 원시 제로가 돈달을 소화도 그래. 점내 군도 라마라 소원돼서 진실로 원시 조벌 고와도 고지고고 자도 수 차송로 그래.
So now we are requesting to grant us the requesting for the give us the initiation for the blessing of the 4 initiations into us, and we say the prayer 3 times. Should
단딜라 미바 제로텔라 내 담부든 데를 고디 랑 자야라 말쇼 이거 자야라 말고 온고 코로나스 자니바 그 자야라 말기 타기 주베라 말서 온고 코로나스 수베가서 주베라 말서 자야라 말 제노 코로나스 오시야 어디션에 내 담부 자야라 말서 니베 자야라 말 주베라 말서 주베라 말서기 아니 야 숨베고서 자벨라말 지는 고쇼 노와르부터 제네 so 노베 되네 인수하지요.
So here as it says that O Gurus, incorporating all objects of refuge to you, I make a request, bestow on me, please waves of inspiring strength, confer on me fully the 4 empowerments, and bestow on me, please the enlightened state of 4 Buddha bodies. So we say 3 times, the first one directed to the root guru. When we repeat 2nd time, the root guru asks the lineage gurus if any one of them would make the oath. And on 3rd, try to think that all lineage gurus request to the root guru for him to give the 4 initiations.
고주고마 자도스 소화다보다 자벨라메 셴게 주벨라마솔도 수용고지 집에 묘체고 다양히 근데 진짜 내가 로마들도 온고로는 세야그 서르지래 미버지.
So when we say it for the first time, this line, the first time we fold our hand and concentrate on the root guru, and we request him to all of them to give us this initiation. And upon such a request, the visualization that you should try to think the root guru, he just give a glance or looks around the lineage gurus and say, what shall we do? That who would just give an initiation to my disciples? Just in that kind of gesture, visualize him looking around, giving a look around the lineage gurus.
자니번 되고도 아니 저라 주벨라마 속에 지기지를 집에가 버치 무슨요. 근데 누구에서 도시상 바우도션을 제고요다 도시상에 내줘만지 내줘마게 반팀벌지 매번 나루바 반팀만 지메잡기 너무 잡아 로자 아마로 매로가 사진 공원 지기지를 집 마지 누구요 고스 고로로 지기지를 집 저희집에 써야
So when we say, while we are saying for 2nd time, then try to think that the lineage gurus, that they try to look at each other. For instance, the great Vajradhara looks at Vajrayogini, and Vajrayogini down to the Narupa, and Narupa to the Jigme Thakpa, and then Ngawan Thakpa, the Lord and so on. They just look at each other down as if to discuss that shall we give the initiation or not. That in that informal conference amongst them. So this is more like conference and make the completion of all of them giving a look at each other.
아니 저희 참네 강고로 가르 나오 좋네 배자벨라마야 장고 세야가 서로데 강고로 그제 물수수 자벨라마데 해시니 지기 자벨라마데 야시비 미바제고래. So
upon the 3rd request, then they all come to agreement, more like an agreement that and all of a sudden every one of the old lineage gurus, they they look at the root guru at center and requesting that please you take the you give the initiation to the disciple.
Ne manzo chi dambo shidu ge song she yin. La be song she dire. Peche na la zawe lama ge dambo de zawe lama ga goma shibe suru chi si. Ni be ga le jube lama su ge zawe lama le ya na wa te su chi si. So be ga so nire nire ni be ga so 자벨라만 그런 속에 요거 이무다 니베고서 말에 담부고서랑 그 자벨라만 해쇼 니베고서 자벨라메 주벨라만라 고로로 치시 손베고서 주벨라만 속에 자벨라만 시 소야지 마도 가주 나베 서르부데 배샤카시나 메용데다 가르체네 리뷰요레데 배샤 염바스노 야리 담부 전에 고도로만 사 자벨라만 쇼 니베고서 자벨라메 chen 고로로 마시 소매고서 강가로야 나와제베 서비스 전에 답변하는 요이전 지겨요래. 다야 소중으로 지금 담부 약셔드는르베 쉐베산 자벨라메 마 고르시. 니베고서 가르 나와 서비스 지기지는 전에 제 크루무시. 소매고서 주의 참네 애니 자벨라마 야시. 아니 신은 오실라 나야리 미바데 소실 되거든. 어다 가르 지금 드레 지금 미와야 오제.
So this way of doing is the teaching I received when I got the teaching for the first time. During my first teaching, then my teacher transmitted me this very excellent teaching that in second round they make a discussion, and third the old lineage gurus look at the root guru and then as if they have made an agreement that he should give the initiation. And whereas in the regular other texts that they also say, like when we first round, when we say we make a request to the root guru, and when we say second time, the root guru he will look around the lineage gurus, and when we say for third time, then the old lineage gurus look at the root guru and as if to request that he should be giving the initiation. So in the second kind, that they don't really stress on the making of the discussion or conference type, but they both are or same. But the first one is my instruction on this practice. When I received for the first time, I received that instruction.
어디 다 소와도 시소와도 답이셨는다. 시소와도 라메트고 올레 드즈오제 가고 트스는 왜 드즈오제 노고 어이 티게 가셔도 드즈요 오제요 말이 티 비서 가셔나라 드즈 가고 트스면도 왜 매해요.
So
매용데 드즈오제 가고 트스 코로 저 비서 나지 년남 코로베 하정가 야부요 비서인데 So 주로된 비슷하지자 예배 갖고 온베 요도 매도 drodia 라마도 저게 너지도 좀 만나네 너 나제 제번에 배 가지고 년남인데 세 차가 질리는 교사들 매게 부수소되게 지요래 때 완전 너로 지고요 말이 그 공지는 림바도 위도 림바에 라마도 저거 소래 내주 주제 성도 지소자요래.
So that here as it starts that from an arm on the forehead of my guru are immediate white nectar and rays of light. And nectar and rays of light. That in some there is no nectar, but there should be nectar. In some texts it does not mention the nectar, but as it is in this text of the Dechin Nyelam, that which is compiled by the great Tetra Pabunka. And Tetra Pabunka, when he made the presentation, compiled this text, referring to the great text by the great Wangshu Rabdin and so on, that he made sure that he hasn't omitted any. So single fraction of the wording in this text of the Dechin Nyelam is so well presented, that every single word in this text carries the meaning fully, and but we choose not to say it. We always try to bargain that I should be allowed to say the shorter one. Anyway, the shorter one too is by Pabunka, and that also contains just all the complete version of the 11 yoga. But this one, longer version, this is really very remarkably presented, that every word in it carries the meaning fully. So now as a practice, because of our mission is to attain the clear light, illusory body, and Yogananda, right? Our whole mission or the goal of the practice is to attain the clear light, illusory body, and Yogananda, which comes in the later in our practice of the Dzogchen or the completing stages. And the Yogananda or the union of the clear light and the illusory body, and Yogananda that itself is of two kinds, the Lobe Sunju, which is called still learners Yogananda, and Milopa, which means non-still learners Yogananda. And also illusory body is of two, the actual and the, I'll get English later for that, pure and impure, yeah, pure clear light, impure clear light, and pure clear light, illusory body, perfect, imperfect illusory body, and perfect illusory body.
너지 심배 고니 거래 도관의 두즈까비 제고 어제 매네 어제 고래 두즈 어제 냥이 고래 고야 가려서는 어제 되게 손주 어제 누구요 두즈 되게 줄을 누구요 저는 어제 줄을 손주 주고 손주 누가 인자 상대바 파지의 셰베 줄을 마주의 셰베 어제 니가 그 용도 상대지 소야 말했으네 나도 상대지 주토모 많이 냐 조베 저 토모 많이 봐 어제라도 토모 많이 봐서 그 말에 디네 산제 고도 토니 그 조도야 되 로전이 청용을 근데 년에 제게도 산데 제소 야마리 원양스네 케스 어두스레 제가 드제 어제 가부 추스 so 라메죠 오늘 드제 어제 가부 추스 드제 촌부지 어제데 오바노제 갈라노제제 드제 어제 고도 나도 드제 요 어제도 드제 인자랑 그 지고도 소네 루지들이죠.
So now the nectar and rays of light, as it comes here, that we must try to do the both, because that our main aim, as I told you earlier, is for the attainment of the illusory body and clear light, right? And so receiving of the nectar and the rays, the nectar enabling us to attainment of the illusory body, and light for the clear light. And here in this section, and also in the Vajrasattva practice, you may just, in the wording, you might find sometimes mention of just the light, but you can also receive the nectar, like the pipe and the water. The light should work like a pipe, and nectar running right through the pipe. So, and coming through the crown of one's crown aperture. So that as we have to try to attain the illusory body and maintain the illusory body and clear light, and through that then attaining the Yogananda or the Sungjuk or the union. and maintaining of such a practice together. That's why we say the practice of the Guru Samaja, Heruka, and Yamantaka all together. So because our whole aim is to attain the three kayas of the Buddha, right? And the attaining of the union with kaya is their primary cause, is the illicit body and the clear light. And because of attainment of them, then eventually we have to attain the two kayas of the Buddha. So thus we to able to mature ourselves to become the qualified recipient. Now we have to sow the seed right now to receiving nectar and light. And light here like a pipe, and nectar, water rushing through it.
This is a young boy, Yana was a by the Chamba, Koduna, this body, the Voyada. Young man was the Tabanosh. This is Corona and Jimmy Money. Tabadel Chudney one. The legend the Voyard. Me by Charlie Voyard. The Majan, Savalama, you share Kongi, the Shoyori. They told the discipline around to Jay and Chilu. The Baru the young, the Lola Chakaviordi.
So, that here, that we have two choices, like when we receive nectar and light, that either we use the light as the medium, like a pipe and the nectar coming through it, or the light working like a thread and water just rolling around it and dripping or right into our forehead, inside our crown of head. If we don't have the medium of the light, then we may have a little problem. For instance, with visualization, the root gurus are right in front and you are on this side, and if they drip the water, then they'll fall right in front of you, not on the crown of your head. So you can use the light as medium, either rushing through or along it.
This is a couple jumbo, Rangi Jivonisu. Jamba Yaja, the Jivotan was a couple Yakon.
So,
Luigi di Rita, Umbe they would do with the Chebriji Johnson, Dali Lavoria, Shaking Lavor, Yakan Lavor, Gunju Jasimumajuna.
So now the as it says here, they dissolve into my forehead, purify the black karmic debts or the negativities and obstacles concerning my body, and confer the various initiation and blessings of the Guru's body enter my body. You know, it just fills up to your neck and with the white nectar and cleanses all one's negativities and purifies the obstacles and so on. Now that here, that message seems to be easy, but main thing is that you should work on your visualization. So that is what we should work on. That message itself is not easy to communicate.
Tada Naja Savelame, Driba Ayi Teleduzo was a Mabucho, Hang and Nebanitim. Niva Yajava Duzo was a Mabugiko. Pombe want to, Magi Digita, Pombe want to.
So now from the at the throat of my Guru are the immediate red nectar and rays of light, and they dissolve into my throat, purified black negativities and obstacles concerning the speech and confer secret empowerment, as it says here, right? And you receive the secret empowerment, and red light received and fills up to your heart. And the Guru's speech, the blessings of the Guru's speech enters one's speech.
On ya the Karila on Resana, Pombe on to the Jirin Gumba on door, somewhere on to the Zorin Gumba on door. So
now the word one, which we translate as initiation in English, the one which means to have control over or to have the authority, authorized. That what we are authorized after receiving this initiation, but because of receiving as a virtue of the receiving the race initiation, we are authorized to carry on our practice of the Gerim And because virtue of receiving the initiation of the secret, we are authorized or we gain the authorization to carry on the practice of the Zorim. And it lays the seed to attain the result, the Sambhogakaya. From whom at the heart of my Guru are the immediate blue nectars and rays of light, and absorb into my heart. And along with nectars and rays of light, they fills just above my navel and receives the wisdom empowerment and purifies the negativities of the mind. So it says that what we are authorized, or what authorization we got, is that to cultivate the messenger, which means, which other way of saying is that we are now empowered to, authorized to meditate on the clear light. Now a seed laid, imprinted on us is to accomplish the Choku or the Dharmakaya of the Buddha. Now again, from the 3 spots of the Guru, that instantaneously that we receive the nectar, white, red, and dark blue. The earlier we received them sequentially, right? All those 3. Now we receive them simultaneously from all 3 of them, and enters through all 3 places. There's the crown head, neck, and center of our hearts. And our entire body inside is filled with the nectar and lights. And all the negativities and obscurations, along with their latencies and seeds and dormants, are purified. Or receive the 4th initiation, the most precious 4th initiation is we are authorized authorized to meditate on the inconceivable path, and lay the instinct or seed to actualize or to achieve the result, the Ngonyugu or the Swabhavikaya.
Oh yeah. Tandi kajime daju ne yoba Quran no yin da gare. Lan sami cha gumala onsa sami cha de anzu sami cha tumo ma yimba sia ge. O debe ko le sanu ta ti ji go sang dong ju mare. De sami cha sia de la su dong cho sami cha, dong cho sami cha, su ju sami cha sia. Be do yini su ju gumala onsa de ra re. Sani ji su ji wa re mi da sho ma do.
So now on the 4th one, we heard that we are authorized to meditate on the inconceivable, right? Most inconceivable. That we shouldn't be limited to just thinking, it could mean the inconceivable yoga or anything like that. It does not mean that. There's inconceivable nangcho, the appearance, inconceivable tongcho or the whiteness, inconceivable sungju or the yugunada. It meant that we are authorized to meditate on the inconceivable sungju or the sungju samikya. So thus, that it is just naming. So when we are through with the blessings of the receiving the blessing and Wang Xi Chen Lep, the four initiations and the blessing, receiving in the form of blessing, receiving four initiation in the form of blessing, that then up to here, then we are through with the generation of the Guru. Now next follows the absorbed merger of the Guru into oneself.
다 니제 제두 셰시 숨저래 라마 집이 셰시 살 다 라마 뜸이 셰시래
As we talked yesterday, that during the teachings on the void of two, in bracket, teachings on Vajrayogini, that there are three sheshis, or the three specialties we have to. Now the first one, that is the generation of the Guru, that we are. Now second one, the merger of the Guru into oneself.
다 라마 집이 셰시 가서 이거 라마 조 라마도 상제도 지상 제야 되다 코르바우도 제야 되다 제니 원시절로 마조고 봐도 라마 집이 셰시래 아야.
So now the first sheshi, that is the first, there are three we said, right? The first sheshi, or the practice. Now the beginning with the generational root guru and lineage gurus and all those, that is the first generation of the gurus.
다 라마 뜸이 셰시디 그들에선 두수 상제지고 탕제지고 라마 루지가 소한데서 세 차송了
So now the next sheshi, or the practice, that the merger of the Guru into oneself. Now make this request 3 times, as it starts on page 9 of my. I make request to you, precious Gurus, who are essence of all the Buddhas 3 times. You know, make that request 3 times, very forcefully from the depths of your hearts.
다그주 진실로도 사도 다그주 도와 다그주 진실로도 스 랑그주 진실로로 지죠 그러니까 주 진실거래스로 그랬으나 다그주 세야도 가르랬어 다도 나도 생활이구나.
So now don't you see that it says, I request you, please bestow on me, bestow on my mind stream waves of inspiring strength, or it says Shinjilab, I would say that please transform my mind stream. Okay, then how he is to transform our mind stream, that what is that mind stream? If possible, we should know that properly.
저도 저수 저도 라마도 고주로 지나면서 자세히 다그주 진실로 쓰고요. 라마딘바고도 수산제지 몰라보는 것으로 다그주 진실로도 보고 중요해 있는 거라 내지 영지 인샤샤 너지 인샤샤 쓰고요. 나도 그래 요매 신고 말이 주샤 거리나.
So now we all say now for the waves of inspiring strength, I'm using the word transform, okay, for the waves of inspiring strength. We always say, please transform my mind stream and transform my mind stream. Even a little child who is saying this prayer, they say it. But what kind of thought it arises in your mind? Have you ever questioned, what do I mean by that?
주의해야 가려야 상로 거고 그거를 뭐지 이노 그 주의를 지지요 랑 주의를 자다 무슨요 가시 그 주의를 대바 치고요 가시 그 주의를 공도 잡고요 가시 그 주의를 왜 잡아 치고요 가시 그 주의 신나 잡고요 가시 그 주의를 연대 치고요 산제 그 주의를 왜 남아 단지 준비 이시요 주의해야 주의도 주의도 가려서는 미다야 말고.
So now that mind stream, we say like now I'll say where it comes in Tibetan, his mind stream has lots of 3 persons delusions. That his mind stream has lots of devotion. Say his mind stream has lots of benevolence, or his mind stream has lots of the miserliness, or his mind stream has lots of wonderful realizations, or in the mind stream of Buddha he has omniscience. We say that, right? So, but when we really have to trace down what that mind stream is quite hard to pinpoint.
That Jew said, Jew the go. Jew the Jew said to the night, Jew because I mean, Jew in la. Jew the Jewish Jewish. Because I Jew the mini G, so you don't joy, Jabba things to go in the G. Then I Jew. June, Marazuko Toma, Mabana Dandali, you must say something to go. June, change the local satire. Temato, Kadu, Chete, Pumata, Jushi, Be Onshira, so the Chichilo Jane, Corondia, Marilla, Inza, Tembuyo Marva, things are Jews here, the wrong Jew. Shed travel, Luma Yisu did that, don't do any, shed travel, Luma Yisu to do, Toma Mabadi, who they can get, shed travel, Sim. Sim Kota Nandu, Rugo, Sim King, Sim Moji, Yabachu, Lung, Shed travel long, then your man Ludir. Shed travel long, the Colon is a Rujiju, and Ruju and Cola, long Drogo, called Darachi or Dangchi, Dang the Nag, Savere. Says Luma is from Shed travel, Luma is Toma Ben, Danabada you, that's on your Salia, and Ottawa is a Cochinjilo.
So,
change a little gorilla load Shubi or Sena, Tanaki, Tana Pension, Madabachi, was called the Cham, Ramazan Mavach, and the Tadoine, then the Zan Mava.
So, that stream, as we are talking about, right, mind stream, and Gu in Tibetan, please get the word Tibetan down, Gu. And as you see, that same word used for Tantra, the Gu Shi, Gu. Again, same word is used in Tantra. That same word Gu used there and here is same. But Gu, what really meant is the stream or the continuity or stream, okay? That Gun, which is stream or the continuity. So here, that what we are requesting to bless us is the stream of our mind, or the continuity of our mind.
That Judy didn't say Judy Judico. Tangaras Judy, Rang Judico, Rang Judy Toma Bamani Omega, Rang is in Sajan Rugo, Jim Mashek, Luma is from Tamutil.
So, like when we request to transform our mind stream, we're not requesting to, it is not just requesting for the transformation of our five sensory cognitions or our skandhas and so on, which are temporary, right? Even if they're transformed, they don't last, they leave behind. But the kind of transformation we're looking for is the transformation of our subtle mind, the subtle three bodies of ourselves, that the subtlest body, subtlest mind, and the subtle speech. For instance, like our subtlest body, our mind, which has come from since the beginner's time, and which came to this moment, and from here, which will connect with the next life and goes onward, and which we intend to go all the way up to enlightenment. Now we are requesting to transform that mental stream, that mind stream. So since that mind, now it has a conveyance or vehicle, the subtlest wind on which it rides, with which it travels, and that is our subtlest body. So because of the wind and its movement, there's sound produced, that's the speech. So the body, speech, and mind, all those three are what we are trying to request to bless and transform, and which is impure so far, we're requesting to make it pure.
제가 주인데 단다 폐랑 알아서 좀 마다 봐. 요즘에 좀 싫어 요다. 제가 단다 폐기 좀 마다 봐지. 다 계지 하면 좀 마다 봐지. 진실럽네. 계지 처음부터 요다 넘버다 봐지는 진실로로지. 있어. 처제가 나시. 넘버 가보. 레 가보로 가인이 지 가보지. 가보래. 처날마치 주야도 마음 차지거든. 대가 나오지 주디가 수익이가 나오지 왜 진실러분이 말이 주 마다버데 넘버 다버치를 다 주동으로는 수요래.
So we're requesting to transform, bring a transformation in my impure mental mind stream, that into a pure mind stream. That just like we were to dye a cloth, which is white and we dip in a dye and comes out red or whatever dye we have put that in. In the same manner, we're requesting to transform our mind, which is soiled, and transform our mind, which is matakwa, which means impure, and to transform that into pure mind stream, and that's what we are requesting for him to do.
어다 들에서 수어다 수어다니 여다 라마딘 바이자 타고지 주가 라마나 의자가 라마리 아팀.
So now next is the merger of the guru into oneself, right? All the gurus who are surrounding the root guru, they merge gradually into the root guru at the center.
주바 야팀로 tel라 라마 주베 라마 샤마스 야다마리 야팀로 수지 다마스 만팀로 수지 니요리 체다 요마레 디네 주바 야팀 팀베 마바치야 tel라 주바 주지니의 체버 요베 셴바도 호요마레 주시티 사치무체 공부 주바도 나면 다소 주바 인자 대야 두자와 이나 디베지리 주시 주바 마팀베 상로도나니 주시 주바 코라에 주시 용조 임베 소로 제니 군일베 체버 메베 상로도 슈고 고야지요 이자더니 주시 주바 팀세야로레 주베라마 고마 오발 팀베 거 팀이 야가 유스 누기 저도 이차 나죠발팀 나죠마데 나루다발팀 나루다바데 팬팀마 지메 잡발팀 데 나호 잡발팀 데 로제 시르즈발팀 멜로루루 잡발팀 다 조미다 도마 저는 야는 판토스 나나나나데 자벨라마 바드팀 주벨라마 타마 바드팀 주벨라마데 우그 자벨라마리 야팀.
So now merger of the guru into oneself, right? The second step. Now there's two ways of doing that. They're either from the root guru, from the top to from beginning to the one's root guru, or the immediate one's lineage guru to the main one, and then to the root guru. Okay, in both cases, like the first, as the Tibetan word used tulsi, as as every one of them being the emanation of the root guru, or emanation of the great, the former ones. So thus, if we merge them, who has emanated them back to one who emanated, and that also helps us our realization that they both being of same. Right? They both being the same, him being the emanation of the earlier deity. Whereas when we do the other way, the Vajradhara into Vajrayogini and Vajrayogini into the Narotapa to the Pamdimba brothers and back down, then we feel that one who emanated dissolves into his own emanation. This even works better in the sense that they both are of the equal excellence, that emanated himself is also being the very much of the equal level of that what he emanated. So that's why here we either we dissolve his own emanation back to the emanator, or the emanator back into the emanation. So the emanator back into the emanation. This time we do this way, and down to the immediate.
하동에 된라면 저자벨라만 tin사르도 주주 가르치기 내지. 야네 주주 참아 어디 주는라면 주주를 주주. 마주네 자주 그래. 제이 거자고 산매고 주주 자주 그래. 상어디 베고서 하면 류를 베고지 하면 사 류를 드네. 내 미미 버쳐 버려. 류버쳐리. 예버치는 하면 류를 때문에 내 자자 버려. 다 진짜 또 그런 거. 근데 내 리버키네. 마도 대야做了 팅구베 루제 공두제는 시라시라게 공세서요 말이 미쇼가 돼 있니 말이 다리 도스자 다자라만 대바 공부를 대바라만 베시라 대바제네베
상두고지
되요쇼리 셔모고 요새 거제네 팅구지마 다리가 이마셔도 뭐 팅구말이 다 자라만 팅사서 자라만 대바 쉬치무 공부를 자라만 집에 상제 탐제 뒤에 다니 제벨라만 가게 다니 나베 코아당에 소를 쪼버지베 렘바 라만 매는베 람 장수 공홍을 해워지지도 파다리샤 베세베 동에 세주시다도 파다리 코에 동에 자에 베 동에 도데바마 동에 셴바자에 요거 말이 추게 넘어자에 지도고 말이 당아베 주베 텔 동에도 디와 모시 요게디 모시 되네 서가 다른 팽이연에 서가 라만디 베카딜레디 조 다동이네 사마제 바도 코라라게 가딩 중고 괜지 인사 저숨 군디 리서타사 리베베 파마도 다 가르치는 전혀 군디 왜 리베 전에 지부 공이 사마르비전 상로디 뭐냐 전에 전에 여르무 공부래 공부 대발랑 진이야 벨라마 리야 짜요도 요도 비체 드레기 베 녀마 타고도 베 대박 공부래 그다음에 이제 대박 가서 공샤네 배마 침부래 너 대발 배마 치그래 공제주 너도 봐 공부래다.
So here then all the lineage guru, right, when they have merged, emanated into the emanation, then back into the root guru at center. Then there's, like some say, the merger of his whole throne and so on into the root guru himself. Now here, before we do the merger of the root guru, we should work on our devotion to the root guru. That first our knowledge of him being the emanation of or embodiment of the entire refuge, in him being the embodiment of the old Buddhas, him being the embodiment of all the teachings, him being the embodiment of all the supreme community and so on. And also most important thing, that him being the source of my whole inspiration, that him being the source of my enlightenment, him being the source of my knowledge about law, cause and effect, that he who has oriented me into the teachings, that he who taught me what is right and what is wrong, he who taught me how to be compassionate, he who taught me how to develop the bodhicitta for the sake of other sentient beings, he who taught me my knowledge into the worldly existence, he who warned me about the predicaments forward ahead of me and how to save myself from them, he who showed me the right paths, and my little knowledge, whatever I share, whatever I have about compassion, whatever knowledge I have about law, cause and effect, that my only way of saving my knowledge about how to safeguard myself against suffering and so on, every one of those knowledge I owe it to that root guru who has made that possible through whose kindness coming at my level and giving me these teachings, that I became at least to be called a religious, leading a way of life of a religious person, that all I owe to the root guru. So thus that you are only my hope and you are my shelter, that in whose shelter, under whose guidance and coaching, that I have to, as I go from here to the state of enlightenment, that whose parenting in my practice and coaching in my practice, my enlightenment is going to be possible. And with that kind of understanding, that you should work on your devotion and sincerity and devotion and respect to the guru, that you feel so strong inside yourself that you want to merge yourself into the guru. That until that kind of strong feeling comes forth, you should work and meditate here as long as you can. The recitation is not important, but here to have this kind of meditation, a strong deliberation, will be far more beneficial than lengthy recitations.
被查理提示能下，被那上这个去一送，送被那个让子碰到继续的呗，可能都没有个去的送要的，去的送啥呢？娘不多，也就人看个车路，刚来刚上把钱的呀，天天忙上去都讲叫到现在就往空那么一个去的，就是哪路把能下吧。나루가 주데도 나zo 배고 되게 미네만 주데니 밀레로 마제 바제 대바로 일레 두고요 말 말에 봐서 나루다베 야에 파디말 가나 샤버 파디마게 파디마디마 치다니 다다 펠랑아서 야체마 두고
So
다다네 제네 야지레 온데 단 나줄레 고소베 사제베 베 베가 용수 줘버데 마 나게 자벨라 말 야자가 디제가 제벨라마 참말로 나라 수치고 나치고 된다르바 배체 마주 마치기 지지 다부저니 베간수 고데베 수르치 나 고데베 수르치 레샤 데네이자라마 참마 고지바이레샤 라메 주바레샤 라마디에 저소 건두레샤 대응에도다 지고 전던 펠도 수나샤 산산리지게 신예된 수 상로야 오지 동시에나 아니 대바다 가든지 시라 트리 대바다 가든지 하고 고네 배 저소 건두레 베리스다사 인사버비지 가든지 트레베 대바 공배고 라마 게베 괜히 다른 펠레베 로만디 된다베 야도 시장 고만하시지 도저 침비 마보로 인자 도저 침부 시다가 도저 제네베 마 로말 지스 차베 보네 라마 마팅도 용도지 여러 야자로 제가서로 되게베 너무 샤지요레 되게 대구 공고레.
So now they here try to deliberate very strongly, that the compassion of great Vajradhara and the Buddha himself, that who, in order to save the all sentient beings, and especially the sentient being like myself, that he gave the teachings of the 84,000 heaps of teachings and so on, especially the most superlative, the teaching of the Heruka and his consort, and teach that mother. And when he taught that teaching, I wasn't around, but still that he, to make that teaching come direct to me, to maintain it until I receive it, that he came in the form of the Vajrayogini and then to the Narupa, and that they maintained the teaching, transmission, and without any fraction of it lost. He maintained it and passed it on to the next, but again, the Pamdima brothers and so on, but again, because of my own ill luck, because of my own ill opportunity, that I was somewhere else and I wasn't around to receive such a wonderful teaching. And in order to make sure that I received this great teaching, to make it possible to channelize right into me, then he came in the form of emanation, one after another, to preserve this teaching, just to for me to receive and make it possible for me to receive it. And he passed it on all the way down to my root guru, who himself is the emanation of all those great beings, that carrying on this teaching from one after another, so that I could receive it. So in fact, all this emanation of all these great beings or lineage gurus, they came one after another in a form of chronicle, that so that this teaching is passed on until I become ready for it, and until I became a right recipient, right candidate, and then he just came here and passing it on to me. So with this kind of strong feeling that now this root guru who coming at my level and speaking the teaching in my level of understanding, transmitting and giving the full transmission of teaching just for me, and him himself being the embodiment of all the Buddhas and so on. So with a strong sense of gratitude for all this effort he put in, so that I become a good recipient of this teaching and do the practices. And his immense kindness to maintain the stream of this teaching through the innumerable number of the emanations coming right down here. And there are strong sense of gratitude for doing so, that we want to get merged with him. And Guru too, that because of his great concern and compassion towards the disciple, which he shared since the beginner's time, and wanting to be oneness with the disciple. So because of these mutual bonds of the student's strong devotion and Guru's strong compassion and concern over the student, that there's strong bond of both wanting to merge with each other. Until that kind of forceful feeling happens, you should deliberate.
That in his own Lama Ngani Chigine Bessi, Behoma Nikiton Dala, Tanapele Be, Yawado Chan, Tanapele Kutin, Be, Juvelama, Tizikan to the Zen, Gushu by Inza, Taribetana, Rusun, Gumar, which in the Tubakasu do Lama Rala Tim. Tabagan Roman de Gunbe, two Zewachim Shem is over with Jen, two Dutch with Loma Jesus Chabe Wong, Shira to Nini. Tanya Sishisar, Shira, Ganibe, Lamaya Rama, Gavishira Jen, Kudi, since they were to Shiniayati, Uzu, Mama, Shun, Niga Kato, Mabuchi, the Jews from Usakuzuti. Mabu, two was like a devotion with Jitoke, devotion with Rajing Mabu, Ziji Chimbo, Ben Yamatunga Habe, Ziji, Ben Zabuli Petraja, Tonsun Seto, Ziche, Terejibe, Virgil, that were they chose your Gomat Chilchur.
So, and try to think that Guru too feeling extremely worthwhile, that feeling that I have waited for this disciple through so many chains of the emanations, coming in the form of emanations, maintaining the stream of this teaching, pass one after one emanation to the next, the one emanation to the next, and make sure that it pass right to this disciple, and pass on to the disciple here, right? And then because of that, he feels.
Talamaran Jesus Chabe on Gede, Jisagi, Jutunia, to shoot, Yotun Mao to shoot, Mabu, Resoma, or the load that I am Majuna usual.
So, and then because of that, Guru and dissolves, so merge into a very intense glowing red light, and melts the throne into the body, and the Guru himself, they condense into a strong glowing red light, which is so bright, that which could outshine the thousands of sun, and which could light the whole universe, thousands and thousands of universe. There's such a strong glow of the red light, which is the bliss, and just at the glance at it could produce the immense bliss, and nature of the great bliss in the form of red light, Guru transforms into that.
This one. That you would Matimbe. That which you go as a just one. That don't know what Jebe Jagge or the children to go, Jogun, marble dug in the shadow of the marble tattoo. Don't dug in the tower tattoo. The shadow of the chief was just Sumba Meva. The Nizilla journey between was like a devotion which he jet over Chile journey, Rang June Mahashone. Then Nival Mahaleon, Pangila Chus, so much.
So now they finally, it just condense and gets smaller and smaller, about the small size of a little bird's egg, and then that is so shiny that it looks the most shiniest, and so much resplendent, the most resplendent, so polished, and so red, the most red, and so on, that just at the look could produce immense bliss, and so that little ball, now it comes on the alights on the crown of one's head, and through the crown aperture merges with cerebral palm, at the center of your heart.
다 방이도 좋네. 조성아. 다 방이도 줘봐도 한도지는 좀 두 방이 얼와 라신 방이들 방이 라메 두 방이들만 때문에 방이 지도 뇌송 삼바지고.
So it transforms into a slave-letter palm at the heart, and that slave-letter palm merge into the slave-letter palm which you have at your heart, and
다 대참 저 동성 사전에 대도 냠버샤고.
so then here becomes you feel very blissful as well as the sense of vacuity, the empty, sense of empty and blissful.
라신 라메 투다 이메도 제네 대동가 라신도 저는 왜 셈들라 대발 적인 왜 대화 렌지 대화 대참 장제 동바니에 그 남아샤도 샤네 동이 샤서 동성서 로직을 대동이 쳐대 어디 대동을 냠버샤.
So now the one's mind being inseparable, because of virtue, one's mind becoming inseparable with that of the Guru, thuk of the Guru, or the mind of the Guru. Now, that a very intense, not intense, great sense of great bliss, and at the same time, the empty, the appearance of emptiness. So on this bliss and void that you contemplate for a while.
다딩에 되질라면 내주리 대공자도나 대동공부에 공가적은 저돈 대공부야.
You should contemplate on the bliss and void here, and this is the definitive Guru Yoga. The Nyetun ki lamene, Nyetun as definitive Guru Yoga.
대화 공부때 대화 롱구리.
Your contemplation on the bliss is the Sambhogakaya.
동바 공부때 출구리.
Deliberation on the emptiness is the Dharmakaya.
나와 나소 요야 되베 나와라 대동게 라제 임발라 나와 나소 손 나와데 출구리.
Though in the form of the bliss in the void, but now not so, which now as appearance, multiple appearance, that is the emanation body or the Nirmanakaya.
대답에 대동게 이시들라 녀모다 시제지바 관계 내 마주바데 뭐냐고래.
So now such a mind of bliss and void, such a mind of the bliss and void, the mind which has both quality of bliss and void, unsoiled by the unstained by true existence, that is the Swabhavikaya. So thus the Guru, who is the embodiment of the all four kayas, that is present in your own mind too. And if you meditate on it, that's really worthwhile meditating.
Oh yeah. That lamination sarre. Nyeda dongda duzinyam seme lamas angabad sarche lamination.
So here up to the Guru Yoga, that now we had the sleeping, awakening, tasting of nectar, immeasurable, and fifth, the Guru Yoga. Now we have covered the 5 yogas. Now sixth, the generation of oneself as a deity. So now it has quite a...
No.
다기지 정와 다기지 주로와 제지지 주로와 사디지인베 산디지 소이다 침부수고 다지가 사제 성용을 내 성디요래 맞지 너만 요자마도 산디지 소고 다지 침부수 성용을 다
So the generation of oneself as deity. Now generation of oneself as a deity. Now the essence says Dajishi as the basis of self to transform that, or the Dajishi Jangwa, or to purify that.
Jangwa Jongji Jongji Gun Singwa is the Jangya Kari Jongwa, when the Daji Jongji Jonghen Kari Jongwaris. Joju Kari Duwarista, Daji Joya daje da harche ne bejiring gu jiring goya de sanje ko song ko photo gore.
So now in this text it is just the verses are abridged, otherwise it incorporates all the lengthy processes or practices which you find in other deities' practices. Okay, that now what we have to know is that basis what we need to purify, with what we purify, and what we try to actualize, what we try to accomplish. So the actual path with which we try to attain the kusum or the three kayas of Buddha, the actual path itself is the Dzogrim or the completing stages. But what we try to purify is the Ki as birth, Chi as death, and Bardo. Those three are what we try to purify. There has never been a change, so there has never been an end. That since in the worldly existence, we take birth, then we die, then again there comes Bardo, then again comes into a birth, then again a death and a Bardo. In this cycle that we remained. In this vicious cycle, there is no end, and that it has been circling. So now if you don't like this cycling or this swirling around, then we have to cut that. And that if we cut any one of them, say if we could cut the bird, or if we could, even if we have to take a birth, but should we not have to die, then if we could bring conquer in any one of them. So now we are already here. We had our birth. Now we have the death ahead of us. And death ahead of us, as you know from the Lamrim teachings very well so far now, that death as such is certain, and as the death is certain, then do we have assurance that we no longer will have to take a birth? No, because we have committed lots of karma. We have committed lots of karma, and we ourselves are responsible for that karma. And what shall we do? Nobody can be blamed for that. We can't blame anybody for that karma. And since as long as there is a karma, then because under the influence of that karma, yangsi, which means the reputation of the existence is again there. Repetition.
So, true, my shang again, she go hard, the jolly go hamogo. No, that's your mother.
Those who are ignorant about the teachings, that they know that they have to die, but they don't know that they have to take a birth. So that's why, that they seem to enjoy what they want to, because they do know they have to die, but not about the next.
Chibu Chumu Chokuru, the Sanlo Don Choa, Medaba, the Lejuri, Sanlo Don Yondi, Lariba, Sabatsugeni, Awatashibu, Mashtamendo, Ramamendo, Shendemete Dugumendo, Lende, Joachimang and Sunder, the Chavo, Londo, Sang and Sunday Sheni, Dinutoya, Gioda Chachivior, Sanlotos Corre, Joachima de San Corre.
So a person who is on the initial level of motivation or initial scope, that he meditates on the low cause and effect and also meditates on the impermanence and death, and knows that death as such is certain, and since that after death one does not cease to exist, and since the low cause, the effectualness of the low cause and effect, and he makes being dreaded by the suffering of the three lower realms and so on, then he makes sure that in his immediate next life or lives, the better rebirth, he works for that end.
다 저치망에 손으로도 셰니베 겨르보다 보다 가늘이 지가 차르지가 문어제 저치망 매밀 넘버다 발레메쇼 살레레메쇼 시아로 기부 용쇼 시아로 저치망 문어제 그래 지부 중은 셴바티게.
So a person of initial level of motivation, or the lesser kind of person, that he being dreadful of the suffering in the lower realms and so on, and then he does his own practice so that he could have no sufferings in the next life, so that he could be born as human in the next life, and so that he would be happier in the next life, and so on, all his interests, that he prays for the better next life. So that his desire is sincere, his wish is very sincere, because he wants to be born as human, and he is working for it, and that he does, because he's very dreadful. He's really scared of suffering of the lower realms and so on, about which he is quite informed. He knows about. He has good knowledge about that. But if he achieves in his goal of getting a birth as human, then does he really know if he is going to be a better kind of person than now? Or does he know that he will live longer than what he lived this time? Does he know that he will not lose his life about 5 or 6 years of age in his mother's lap, or even earlier? Does he know anything about that once he gets that rebirth or his mission? Neither does he know that he will be born in a place and get sick, and there's a facility like the hospitals and so on to take care of him when sick, or born in a place where such facilities are unknown, and he will have to live with his pain and dripping of saliva around just out of his mouth. Then next, what ahead of him is again the death.
Rab ke bengone tane diba pang gyo shada du de chuba rab ji ne melu jalena shidi jalen shibore.
So now that his mission or his whole goal, that is to be born as human in the next life, which could have existed or which he could achieve for about 40 or 50 years or whatever, then again the death he has to face, right? That death comes. Then somebody who would like to have even a chain of human lives after and concentrate and meticulously just do the right acts and so on, then get it take birth as human 2 times consecutively, then again he will have to meet 2 deaths consecutively. Say he gets 100 human births consecutively, then again a consecutive 100 death is there, right?
That in the Sanluton that near Kuala Tani or Mari. Lotunda, Matio Tunda, the Milulian Kachene, Milu Tunda Chile, Shitin Tunda Jishi. Then is in the youngest on the door, Chivareke, Mason Chilung San Ji to Shiomari, Kake Payomari. Today is a queer to Tamidu, some of the time, Shimugochi, the Chimugochi, Sanlutongure. And the Salton Labri Lolo Jone, Shimugochi, Salton, Yana Dajumbachi, Timeri. You're the Yunso Mazo.
So,
Jiba Yunso Mama, that Chakati.
Now so even if one gets the thousands of life, 1,000 times as human consecutively, but there's 1,000 deaths. And again, if one once again has a big fall, and get a rebirth in lower realms, then again caught in the vicious cycle of then nowhere unknown and so on. So thus we don't really see an end to this cyclic existence, the viciousness of this cyclic existence. And then other choice is to, if we want gains arhatship, then arhatship again in terms of the qualification too, that one hasn't gained the full consummation, neither has one has crossed all the faults, all the faults one need to remove, all the obscurations one need to remove.
There are also Larena Jene to a rangi, Dumeshela Badi, Nijigo, Nijil, Jam Nijigo, Lasago, Chachu to the same Jessia, Tajigo, Sanje Todu Jona, Tibachimu Shutu. So
through this kind of contemplation and seeing the how one is caught in such a vicious chain, and then with one's personal knowledge of the suffering on oneself, and if we just focus that on the fellow other sentient beings, and we could feel compassionate on their situations as well, and develop the great compassion and love and concern for their predicament as well, and develop the love and compassion for everybody.
That Tivachimba shown and Hachiginda, Parichimba Tivachenida, not the Parichima column, Brunebe, Tivachimba language, Jonshin, the Joshi Simri.
So, then because of that concern and compassion towards all others, then one chooses to adopt the Mahayana path. The Mahayana path, whether one is going to take up the present Paramidhyana or the Sutrayana, or the Vajrayana, but which is like the main course or the main highway of the Mahayana path is the bodhicitta. To accumulate the most productive or the most effective way of producing the 2 kinds of merit that has to be done through the bodhicitta. So without or the lack of the bodhicitta, whatever kind of virtuous activities one try to involve, that does not become an accumulation of the merit of punya sambar, and whatever, how hard one meditates on the shunyata or the emptiness, that does not become a jnana sambar or the accumulation of the insights.
다 장시 심디 배 쪼르 공고 인자 장시 심 생애되게 랑레 자 세자 자치하지 랑도게다 가리 요네 신진의 배로 잖아 배 시전 나가 지기 돈다레이네 배 냐와는 총고고요네 배 같이 매바르 비치기 배 상로테 당고고요래.
So for that bodhicitta, then our respect or regard to the other sentient being, that our regard should be that the sentient beings are more precious than myself. That one's are courageous enough to dare to or bear the suffering of even the hell for the sake of other sentient beings. That kind of courage one has to have.
랑레베 시제 탐제 알라라 시제 지레이네 되게 상동고 인자 시제 탐제 동엘이 두어베 선이레자 드링하베 림버드고 베 텔베 가디르베지 트렌드 토요 삼베베 지 시제 동엘이 두야 될베 시작이 너베 침고래.
So tomorrow is too long that one would choose any way to do it today, that not only for the one sentient beings or even for single sentient beings, that one could that too towards all sentient beings, that one can wait even till tomorrow, but if there's any possibility that to have to get it done today, sense of urgency.
시제 탐제 동엘이 주는 상제 사다 배 레야게 너바데베 제나미르 너바 첨부 너바 녀보 되게 되게 니지고 이자 아니 세제 호랑선이 디봉기도 마셴 바상 제주 파세레 멜루제레 카부레 되네 이자 고지 제토하면도 다 세제 타지게 되는 제도 산다 세제 사제 살 사제 되지 사제야 되지 되는데 어디 호랑수도 도 매주 사제 사제 살 자동고 산 로타 베드제네 랑 쿠르도 해야 돼 하섬레.
So that great compassion, that sense, such a strong sense of urgency to eradicate the suffering of sentient being, if one has chances to not having patience to wait till tomorrow, but to wait to get it done earliest possibility, with that kind of great compassion, then I gain knowledge that I need to do that, but because the sentient beings on their own or by themselves, they are unable to do it because they do not know. They do not know about anything about how to avoid themselves committing the negativities, which further put them down into the suffering, and thus they do not even know how to wait to get even a human rebirth on their own. So thus, that as they are unable to take that responsibility on their own, so I should be the one who takes the responsibility, and taking the responsibility of all beings on one's back. That's what we call exceptional thought or the haksam.
다 합상의 조배고도 세자다지 상지 살고 고고인자 수술을 넣어 가르노 그 도바 안도 왼도다나 마토 터요 말이 고주 개란 말이 그 고래 된 넣어요 말이 다다 넣으면 상지 고보 토고래 상지 고보 토수는 세자다지게 되제 토고요래 대토배 준세 다 상지가 연대신 거래 연대신을 하고 그래 근데 인자 세제도 상지 토는 마도 세자다지게 되제 토사 말이 다 상지 고보도 토고도 좀 대신다지 대장주 있어요.
So then now we have taken the responsibility of all sentient beings, but then when we assess our own capability, am I able to do that now? Am I able to really try to take that, able to do it? Then we find that we I'm not able to, then what makes it possible for me to do that? What kind of means will enable me to help the all sentient beings? Then we have to contemplate on the great qualities of the Buddhahood, that knowledge about the Buddhahood and its great qualities then make us realize that without the enlightenment, which is indispensable tool to help the sentient being, then I can't help any, because when with the proper assessment, we found that. So we find that it is indispensable for me to attain the state of enlightenment for the well-beings of others. So that decision to work for that enlightenment is what we call bodhicitta.
다 정신 쓰면되네 상하가 쳐야 말이야. 대화 전부 인체체 상대당 거. 때문에 대화 전부 레어 말이야. 제가 대화 전부 마주나 아니 가론 뱅고 말이야. 너가 또 뱅고 말이야. 가봐 말이야. 차르래. 근데 인자 정신 쓰면이야. 다 정신 쓰면들라요. 뭐 신제 그 돈도 사지 고모 루야 돼. 개버 점에 송고 초사고래. 개버 점에 송고 초사발라. 깔레 가봐 삼베베 제루잔 지주 말이야. kalya kaze jabun jab samba rabati ineve joguji ma juna keba tame suze gogo juna simje doge pa to ma banyaro ni jigre sam nyawa de yebe simje to ali shen pa memba meji la so se ke jam dewa meni sabuyo zugudi chimbuyo.
So without the bodhicitta, as explained just now, that how hard we try to say the mantra, that how hard we try to say certain practices and so on, that let alone that becoming a Tantra practice or anything, that one does not even does not become a Mayan practice, right? So that is the must. Then that we have to work on the bodhicitta, and the bodhicitta. Now for attaining the state of enlightenment, which we found with our assessment, our must tool for benefiting sentient beings, and which takes as the collection of merits for as long as 3 immeasurable countless eons and so on. But personally, one is ready to struggle for that long, that without any withdrawal or without any sense of the withdrawal or without any sense of the surrender to anything, without any sense of sluggishness, that one is ready to face it, but can't wait that long, because even at this very moment, there are lots of sentient beings all over the realms, especially like hell, and beings who are crying out the pains of being burned and so on, and the magnitude of their body and magnitude of the pain which we can't stand and which we need to work early as possible.
Penali Trunchi Chimbu, Maransu, Trunchi Church, the Mimbudi Kazayuri, Tangaja Todoa, Sinja Dundu Tangaja to Amendoa, Ale Trumbachi Tangaja to Amendoa, Chuzinji Naga Sinja Tunduja to Amendoa, so Nagata Zangu Chimbu Hatarisha.
There are more animals than the human beings. Like the number of the animals can be compared with that of the population of the entire human beings. That we can't even calculate how many numbers of the animals just live in a locality of a town, and not even mention a locality or even on a small, just calculable spot, even in a pond. That how many insects live in that small pond, we really simply can't calculate. There's no way for us to know how many animals or the insects are there inside. Whereas the number of the predators exceed that of the animals, and number of the hell beings exceed much further than the beings as hungry ghosts.
Ali tarang shoga nalo ne tanda padu ya chuzu ni su su ji ji ringa la donge ka se nya chag mare Zoya Yomari. Tata doine dunga daga nyane dewa inza, Jobu Sanje Jukobotone Yanreta Jimajuna, Susu Sanje Drone Yorimu Odena, Sije Dunga Yan Yorimu Tazi Dewa.
So,
Although Saldam Warita.
so that now there are incalculable number of beings, and let's just deliberate that how much they could have suffered from this morning till now, that how much suffering they have undergone, most unbearable, right? Most unbearable sufferings they have faced, and then if I worked for the enlightenment personally for that long, then would they be able to wait that long? Could I leave them in suffering for that long, that unbearable suffering?
Tan Sanje Gobu Jobu To Gobu Yuna, and Jolam Chila Manduna, Keba Dramasu Gu Jenny Sanje Gidber, Kalekale Chilon Yomare, and Jolam Chili and Rogo Yori.
So we urgency of time that we can't wait that long, and then that we have to seek a path which is speediest, which is the speediest towards the enlightenment. So speediest, or the fastest way to get to the enlightenment is the path, secret path, or the path of Mantrayana. And amongst these paths in the Mantrayana, that of the Mahananda Yoga Tantra is the fastest. So we should deliberate or think in such an order, because every one of us present here are the mantrikans, not only mantrikans or tantric practitioners, but tantric practitioners who have committed themselves for the Mahananda Yoga practices. So now the course of the Mahananda Yoga Tantra, that course or the way is very rough, and the means of transportation, that horse, is also a very wild one. So the jockey who is going to ride on it has to be very well trained, that unless that he is going to have a big fall and could even lose the life. So now if one is well trained and skilled in the riding the horses, then in a few moments one could cross that course. The paths in the Prajnapraya Midhyana is a very wide and expansive ground and very comfortable to tread on. And means of transportation looks for instance like riding on an ox. So that it does not demand too much skill on the part of the rider, because that a means of transportation itself is slow, and it takes time, but one will get there. So now it is said that one who takes the tantric path or Mahananda Yoga Tantra, it is like letting a little child ride on a wild horse, as said, and so thus that we need as a skill. That when we say skilled in riding, the skill we need, the skill we are demand on the rider is the ridership, is the bodhicitta and the one's thorough knowledge into the samumetawa, right view of the profound madhyamika. So with that understanding, with that requirement, now what we try to purify is Jishibadusum, which means the birth, death, and the bardo. So now that we, instead of the death, by destroying the death, and what we seek is the Dharmakaya and path with which we are trying to do that. The path which we implement is the clear light practice. So, not having to go through the bardo, as substitution for the bardo, we have to accomplish or actualize the Sambhogakaya. So now when in this practice, when we try to purify the death, birth, death, and bardo, that we don't try to purify that where our understanding of emptiness destroys the grasping of self, that they both being contradictory in their aspect, but we do that with resemblance with each other in the aspect. So now the the instrument with which we destroy them are with clear light, lucid body, and Yoganada of the Dzogrim, with which we try to destroy them. So thus that we incorporate here the practice but in order to attain that, we have to precede that, or preliminary, we have the accomplishment of the kirim. So now our main knowledge, thus it is very imperative or important for us to know that our process of the death and the bardo and birth and taking of three kayas onto path.
제가 지지바도 숨보드나 텀바츠 고송람 칠고는 다제 지링티체 텔라 랑기시 종아샤데 창용어 제기시 주로와샤데 진구제초리 진구제초 이당 예버서 진구제초는 제부요 말이 너도 거쳐보지 로다베네 조스지요리 드네 이자네 주지마 시온데다 르카도 셰초고레데 알리 지지바도 숨보디 로탕데 회체셰이 당에 다바리 시셰데자 신규요르디 다 셰고요 저래미데 대자더니 셰드마도 다다 니마 또 디제샤 디서르디 신샤 양디서 요 제샤는 양거시거시 걸레카 거시거시 배면나 그래서도
So now we have to go over this, right, and then taking of 3 kayas on the path, and so on. Now, those becomes the integral part of the practice in the developing stages, and more will follow. And so this is very important, and we will have the discussion that talk about more teachings will follow on this. And now time's almost over, and if I make the time available now, I think somebody must have a pains on the knee, or somebody must have to leave.
大一曲在这样。